What's up, Internet? Here we are once again in Pokemon Red, following a Pokemon adventure that happens to be all our own. You might be noticing some audio difference. I'm trying to record audio and video through the same application, so the mix is a little bit off. Normally I record audio and video separately and put them together, but I'm really behind this week, so I'm hoping this will save me a little bit of time. Anyway, last week we managed to go catch some legendary birds. We could add them to our team and increase our team strength by like 10 levels, plus ridiculous amounts of stats. We're not going to be bothered to do that, though, because I like our team as we have it. So here we are trying to stop some Team Rocket-y nonsense. And, ultimately our goal is mostly just to, rid Team Rocket of this place, and also get the next gym badge. Yes, that probably is. In fact, it's probably the same one we skipped earlier. This isn't the building we need to be in. In fact, I don't think there's anything of value in this building, at least for us in particular. You can tell it's been a while since I've been to Cinnabar, or at least played here. Okay, we can't go to the gym, because Team Rocket's doing some evil things. Which would mean here's where we need to go. And thus we run into our first randomized battle, which is Ponyta. Weird thing about Ponyta, and I've always noticed this when I was a kid, I still kind of see it. Behind its front left leg, you can see its front right leg, right? Well, to me that always looked like its heart was just sort of hanging out in front of it. And it always just came across as weird to me. But we can get a Ponyta if we want. I don't see much reason getting a Ponyta this late in the game, but we could. Ponyta, the owner of one of the nicest shiny sprites, if you're interested in collecting shiny Pokemon. This is also where they tried to clone Mew to make Mewtwo. Oh, Wild Weezings. This is also where we'll run into Mucks. And I think if we were playing Pokemon Blue, also Magmars. But we're playing Red, so I think we run into Electabuzz. Or vice versa, I can't remember which is which, but I'm pretty sure this is the one with Electabuzz. We will swap Logie out in front. I think it's a good plan. But the entire reason we're doing this is just so that we can get the next gym badge. I like that this person just doesn't randomly challenge us. We actually have to go up and talk to him. Awesome outfit, by the way. Burglar with Charmander. Well, you see, the whole problem with that is I have a water attack. I forgot how Surf looked in combat. It looks quite nice. I like that. It looks very powerful and dynamic. It's one of the most dynamic looking attacks, I think. You use your Charmeleon. I care not. I still have a water attack. In fact, Lagiacrus here is going to basically walk us through the entire next gym because it's the fire gym. Although we could also do it with Flammy because Flammy has an earth attack. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Now, if I told you I actually knew where I was going down here, that would be an egregious lie. Hey, Growlithe. The cross between a dog and a tiger, for reasons. But Logie does not care much. Because Logie has water attacks. And if you picked Squirtle at the beginning of the game, this is where kind of Squirtle comes back into being useful. He's good for the first gym, and then kind of sucks all the way up to here, whereas Bulbasaur's good at the first 2 gyms, maybe 3, and then just stops being useful altogether. Charmander has issues with the first 2, and then just starts kicking a lot of bottom, and also is just genuinely the best starter, and one of the best monsters, so that's why we picked him. And also, we did not get poisoned there. I'm not offended by this. Not being poisoned is definitely a big plus. Alright,
Again, I wish I knew where I was going.
I know we can collect reports that'll tell us how Mewtwo came to be. Not that that's all that relevant to us now or ever. It's just sort of some flavor backstory stuff. But, really, there's not too much to this area other than it's just another sort of dungeony area you kind of have to navigate. You might have to find a key to open some doors. I think you might have to fall down a floor or something. Because I think the story to this place is when Mewtwo escaped, the entire place sort of caught fire, which is why there's poison and fire monsters running amok. Yeah, that sounds like a good thing we should have given Saitama, except he's a physical attacker. Oh well. Should give that to Bryant. This music sounds really uninspired. It just sounds like random notes, trying to sound kind of electronic-y. If I recall, there's a pretty big jump in terms of levels between the penultimate gym and the final gym. Even though between the two there really aren't any fights, it's really just you fly back to a town you've already been to, you go fight the gym leader, and it's a huge level difference. Hey, Iron. I can't zip down to the bottom of the thing by going through the top, that sucks. I'll give that to Saitama as well. Raise his defense. That sounds like a good idea. Although, to be fair, I'm just sort of chucking them around because I don't remember what any of them do. Again, keeping with consistent themes here. Since the last time I recorded this, I streamed twice. That was fun. My first episode of that will be up on YouTube. When this goes up, which should be today, like I said, I'm kind of behind on a lot of stuff. I'm trying to catch up. I lost my job this week, so I'm gonna have some time in the immediate weeks. I'd like to ideally stream pretty consistently, but again, I'm behind, so I'd like to catch up before that becomes a thing. But I've got a few games I'd like to stream, maybe, and my buddy who was streaming with me from the games I was streaming, which was Dark Souls mainly, he wants to make that a continuous thing, so I'd be happy to do that. That helps build my confidence, because I'm not doing it completely alone. So, hopefully that'll just help as a good intro to streaming, because we had some issues the first episode, but we also made a special on Super Famicom fighting games, which, again, will be going up the same day this will be, so I'm fine with talking about that. That was a long video, and I don't think we really intended it to be. That was originally going to be like 3 games, that ballooned to 5, that ballooned to like almost 10. But that was a lot of fun. Since then, a new free Pokemon game's been released on Switch. Hey guy, you want to fight me? Yep, you're a burglar. I guess. Again, with Mr. Cool Guy shades over here. Oh, that's cute. You've got another fire type. I like Ninetales more than I like Growlithe in its evolution, but Lagiacrus does not give a shit. Lagiacrus has water attacks. And should canonically have lightning attacks, but doesn't. Now, Roar is actually a potentially dangerous attack because it will ultimately end up having switch our teammates out. Let me just get my words in proper order because my brain is completely having a brain fart right now. Roar replaces your team with another teammate. At random. I don't think there's any way to control it either, so it's kind of a dangerous attack if you're not prepared for it, and if you've got like one member of the team who's really good against an element but everyone else is weak to it, it's potentially devastating. Also very tired right now. I've had to go through a lot of nonsense this week with the end of my job. But I don't have to worry about that anymore, I guess. Max Potion. I don't really need that. more coughings. Let's try Thunder. Zap. But yeah, there's Pokemon Rumble Quest or whatever it is, which is like kind of a sequel to that one Pokemon Rumble game, I think it was called. Where everything looked vaguely kind of Minecrafty and boxy because they were wind-up toys. I think there's like I think it's an MMO or something. It's free on the Switch, so I might download it after this. There's also a new Pokemon game, or 2 new Pokemon games coming out for the Switch, which are remakes of Pokemon Yellow, but this time you can play as Eevee and also Pikachu, and also it's a tie-in with Pokemon Pokemon Go. Mew gave birth. We named it Mewtwo, except it's a clone, so I'm not sure if birth is technically the correct term. Do we have to check by the signs? I remember this being a kind of weird place. Yes. Who wouldn't press the secret switch? But I was thinking about this a little bit. It's a Pokemon game where you can play as Eevee because screw Pikachu. And going back to Pokemon Yellow, that was one of the big things I noticed about it was if you look at some of the promotional art and all like the special magazine things that talk about Pokemon Yellow, if you look at all the promotional pictures and whatever, they were all pictures of your character fighting an Eevee, which I took to originally mean that you would run into wild Eevees early on, which means, well, back then I kind of had a marginally higher opinion of Eevees than I do now, although Static Cling is definitely changing my opinion very quickly. It was wrong. You could not get an Eevee any other way than how you could in Pokemon Red and Blue. But instead, Phaphimon got an Eevee and you were stuck with a Pikachu, which definitely, while we're on that subject, you got the freaking short end of that stick by a wide margin. But now you can get an Eevee from the start, although you can't evolve it, which takes away from like 99% of the reason why you'd ever want an Eevee. Which is weird because a lot of the console games kind of focus on Eevee and its evolutions too, like Pokemon Colosseum and Colosseum 2 or whatever it was, Gale of Darkness. Those both focus on main characters who used Eevees, or their evolutions. Whereas this time you get an Eevee, but it's stuck being an Eevee, but you can put like a hat on it or whatever. Hooray. But I was thinking about this too, because I was looking at more promotional material for Let's Go Pokemon, and again, it goes back to Pokemon Yellow. Some promotional stuff I noticed about that was there were, at least from what I saw from promotional pictures, there was no random encounters. You could just see the Pokemon walking around on the grass. Now, of course, we know that's very much not the case, but still, going back to that, just out of the pseudo-nostalgia from what I remember from promotional stuff, it really makes me kind of want to play it. Even though it's tied to Pokemon Go, and that I find horrendous, especially considering from what I've seen, it doesn't look like there's going to be all that much actual combat. Which I find to be a weird choice. But again, this is all based on pre-release stuff that I normally typically ignore for this very reason. I prefer to, of course, have more solid information to work on than just random speculation based on what little they give you. But it's kind of exciting. But once again, the big Pokemon game everyone cares about isn't coming out till next year now for reasons. Oh, yeah, okay, so the switches, when they open a door, they close another door, so you kind of have to swap them every now and then. I remember the gimmicks of this place now. Okay, fair enough. Earthquake. Earthquake, very good against fire types, because as Smokey the Bear once put it, if you don't have water, dump a bunch of sand on it and it'll put out any fire. And Earthquake is very much the same. Where the hell am I going? Hey, it's a little Grimer, it's so cute. But it's not rainbow colored, or fruit scented, I think, was the big thing in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Okay, so we can't get to those particular bits. I think we have to... I don't think going up the stairs is going to help us any. I don't think... Nope. I'm going to pretend I remember what the room I was in 5 minutes ago looked like. But as much as I would love to run from some of these fights, the fact is, like I kind of mentioned, I remember the level difference between the penultimate to the final gyms being pretty high, so we want to get as much experience as we possibly can at this point. I also remember the level difference between the Elite Four and the Champion being stupid. So again, leveling is kinda important a bit. So let's try and do that whenever possible. I know these are rocks. Like, I will run for this fight, but just to point this out, but run. Okay, I know these are rocks, but I always thought they looked kind of like ducks when I was a kid. I don't know. Okay, so there should be a switch here. Press it, yes. And that door closes, but this one opens. Now you run into this guy. Your mentor once lived in a science lab. Your mentor was either a person who lived at his job, or a science experiment, I'm taking it. Now the thing is, you don't have the ability to levitate just yet, which means you're going to be really, really smashed when I hit you with a ground attack. Much like that. Magneton! No. Again, I do not fear your non-levitating electric types because special abilities have not been invented yet. Oh, while I'm talking about my streaming and Twitch stuff, go check out my Twitch account. It's literally the same as my YouTube account. Although I do aim to put everything up on here afterwards anyway, but if you want to see it as it goes live and be part of that community, you can go there and do that. Social media, I've got stuff like that too. I've got a Patreon, go support that because I don't have a job anymore outside of this. Although I've plugged that a few times here, but that's... At this point in my life, that's a big one. I can't make money off my own YouTube videos anymore, thanks Google. So, it's all up to crowds now. Crowdfunding and fans who want to see more awesome stuff and want to make it so that I can actually afford to do awesome stuff. But yeah, we're just going through a giant burned building, trying to ultimately, I think, kick Team Rocket out or talk to the gym leader. I can't quite remember. I just know the gym is locked and we gotta deal with the gym leader at some point. And in the manga, he was a member of Team Rocket, kind of unwittingly. Again, you should be reading the manga as we do this. It would make it more interesting. Crap, we're down here again. Now the question is, do the switches carry over from screen transitions? Because if they do, this is going to be a pain in the ass. We will consecutive normal punch the Ponyta to submission. That seems like a plan. That was not consecutive enough there, Saitama. Let's try again. Hooray! They do. That's a pain in the ass, because that means we have to hit this switch and then hit the other switch again, as opposed to the switches only working on the floor they affect. That's kind of a pain in the ass. But what can you do? And we will Comet Punch again. And we will whiff that attack. Quit whiffing. I didn't name you Whiffy the Missing Wonder. I named you Saitama the One Punch Man. Or the Caped Baldy, depending on how you want to translate that. Alright, that's a fight down. Now we hit this switch again. Crap. I really could do without this encounter rate. I'm not saying lower it significantly, but even half the encounter rate that it currently is would be better than what it presently is. Oh, come on, Saitama. I do have that Max Potion if I need it. Which I probably should use if I want to keep giving you some levels. And also clear out my inventory. Oh, I have another one. Oh well. Yeah, I think we might just be running around trying to find the gym leader and talk to him, and then we get to go to the gym. I remember there being a big Team Rocket presence. That might be in yellow, or it might be just part of the lore. I can't quite recall. There's nothing in here. Awesome. Which means I guess we go down here? Because logic. Now the problem is we're limited with what we can do because we have Fire Punch, which, well, obviously isn't going to be much help here. We have Ice Punch, which Ice is weak to fire, so that's not going to be too good. So we really just have Comet Punch, and that's about it. And we're burned. Fantastic. I'm kind of surprised they didn't just use that Ember Flame effect to signify burn. Instead they use like the Poison Jolly Roger Skull and Crossbones. Kind of a weird choice. We're gonna have to fight that scientist. Now, fortunately, we can use Fire Punch on this guy. We're burned, which kind of sucks, but at least we can kind of not get... come on, brain. Words. We're not going to run out of Comet Punch as fast if we can just Fire Punch this guy. Although I'm pretty sure Poison is good against Ice, so not an ideal matchup. And now Saitama's in trouble, and Max Potion will not recover that burn, so we will probably swap him. Unless we have a burn heal or whatever. I don't want to use that full restore. I want to keep that for later, so we'll swap to Zephyr. And then the scientist who wasn't smart enough to leave when this place was on fire. Still hanging around, probably half burnt. Horribly scarred for life. You know, as you do. Oh, this is a good matchup. I'm gonna just get out of here, thank you. I was hoping you'd self-destruct. Now fortunately, I've got levels on you, but you've got Element on me, and that's not ideal. And also you can self-destruct. I'm not sure if that's in your particular moveset, but I know your specific Pokemon can self-destruct. But you're going to be nice and not use it, which is fine. Hey, level up. Awesome. Weezing. What should we use against him? We could Toxic him. I think we'll just keep flying, though. And the nice thing is, as long as we don't get hit by, like, smog or anything like that, we should be okay. Because we really just have to avoid getting poisoned. That's the real trick. So once we get poisoned, things kind of snowball, and we don't want that to happen. Ouch indeed. Item, 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 item. Carbos. We will throw that on Saitama. Speed, that's important for him. And I think we want to go down, so we will go down. these stairs, which are probably a way back up if we screwed up. But the key is to get to the very absolute bottom of this dungeon-y place. I mean, no, I don't think I could even use a repel because I don't think I have one. You gonna fight me? I don't know where you are now. I'm not entirely certain where I am now. It's been forever since I've had to do this dungeon. It's been like literally 20 years. There's a lot of things I remember about this game. This dungeon isn't one of them. Other than it's a mandatory place that you probably should have been able to fight either Mewtwo or Moltres at, but didn't. It made a lot of sense to run into Moltres here too, because, you know, you just run into him in a mandatory cave. Which comes across as a bit weird and inconsistent. I mean, at least this place is kind of vaguely fire element. Again, I do not fear your fire elements. I started with a fire elemental. I am well within my not afraid of your affinity sort of position. And that's also because my fire type has an attack that's really good against your fire type. Can you say the same? No, you can't. Worst thing you could do to me is burn me like you did Zephyr here. Yes. Crap. I want that item. I want it because it's there, not because I know what it is, not because I think it has some tactical advantage for me grabbing it. I just want it because it's there, and I can have it. Well, this is less than ideal. Okay. Swap time. I guess we will swap to Flammy. King of the flammable dinosaur things. And also Dig. Which is super effective, which I'm a little surprised about. Even though I should probably know that. Hooray! TM14. What is TM14? I must know! Blizzard? I could teach it to Bryant. Or Laggy. Well, Bryant already has Ice Beam, so... yeah, we'll give, why get rid of Thunder Wave? I think that'll be a useful trick to add to my little toolbox of abilities. Alright, now we gotta figure out how to get out of here. And by that, I mean figure out where the exit is after we find, Blaine is his name, I believe. Again, it's been a while. This might also be the longest we've ever gone without running into a fight. I just had to say something. I like the kind of goofy grin that Coughing has. Not so much the terrifying look that the wheezing that's exploding out of a Coughing has, but I kind of like that just sort of goofy grin. I mean, it would be if it hadn't already caught fire. But what can you do, I guess? Magnemite. Now, see, you didn't learn from your colleagues who also used non-flying electric types who could not levitate and were easily destroyed by any sort of ground attack, much like that. Because wabam. Care to try again? I think you would. And that's why I'm going to hit you yet again with another ground attack. Because it's ridiculously effective against you. Yeah. That wasn't all that threatening. That was for attacking me. Alright, I guess Static Cling is now going to get a turn at the wheel. We could hit this switch. I guess let's do that. I'm sure this is going to be one of those things where you're going to run into a switch and you don't want to press it. Hey, rare candy, that'll be useful. I was about to say, I don't like that there's kind of a level gap between our monsters right now. 40, 41, 38, 41, 40, 39. Okay, Saitama, you're getting a level. Awesome. And while Ponyta shows up, and it's time for Static Cling to not have a lot of elemental effectiveness, but still have Thunderbolt because stab. Still pretty effective, but that's mostly because level. What do we have here? TM22. What have we got here? What is your secret 22? Solar Beam. Currently not able to be taught to a Charizard. Later it would be, if I recall correctly. If you had a Venusaur, that'd be very useful. We do not. It's useless to us. What have we got here? The secret key. It is the key to all of life's secrets. Possibly. Or, you know, not. I don't know. I'm not your life coach. I gotta go to the front to hit this switch. Crap. Okay. But we're making good progress. We've got the key, which I think is what we need to get to the final floor of this place. And that's the important thing. Get out of the way. Alright, so we got the secret key. Now we need to find the secret key door. Yeah, the coffee on the left just looks horrified at what's, you know, exploding out of it. I don't blame him. It's not as attractive and it doesn't have a big goofy grin like the other one. Hooray! We'll keep going with Static Cling, I feel. I'm gonna say right now, if I do get Let's Go Pokemon, I'm getting the Eevee version. Just to fulfill my childhood fantasy of having an Eevee from the start in Pokemon Yellow. I gotta hit the stupid button again, don't I? Crap. And then I think the secret key is for the door on the very lower right from the previous screen we were on. I think, and then you just drop down and it takes you to the final area. I think. I also want to say, originally you were supposed to run into Mewtwo here. And this was going to be like an optional area. And that's why they've got so much like lore on Mewtwo. Instead they just put him at a cave at the end of the game for whatever reason. And they make him stupidly leveled, even though he's already a very powerful opponent. I can't secret key my way through this door. That is not the secret for which this key is meant for, I guess. Run away! I think this is the way we need to go. What? Or was that key for this door? Huh. Okay. So the secret key is actually for there. I remember you have to run to, like, Blaine at the bottom of the place and tell him to stop being a prat and come, fight you in his gym, and then you fight him in his gym. Now, I know it's cutting it a little short, but I think I'm going to call it, mainly because I am ridiculously exhausted right now, and again, we are recording this in a slightly different manner, so if you want to let me know what you think about this compared to the other way, if it's better, if it's worse, I might change it up for next time, but for now, that has been the trek through the experimental burnt-down Pokemon lab where Mewtwo was created. Spoilers, and you probably should have fought him there, and also Moltres, but neither happened. Also, we never ran into a Magmar, so I'm pretty sure it's Electabuzz in this one. Holy crap, that was a mouthful for one breath. Anyway, this has been this episode. We'll see you next week. Peace out, Internet.